take 8 if you have the sadhana. I go for refuge until I am enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the virtuous merit created by listening to the Dharma, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the virtuous merit created by listening to the Dharma, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the virtuous merit created by listening to the Dharma, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be separated from the bliss that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment, and aversion. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and make oceans of offerings, both real and visualized. May I purify my negative karmic seeds from the beginning of time, and rejoice in the virtues of all ordinary and extraordinary beings. May the enlightened ones remain until samsara ceases, and turn the wheel of Dharma for us. May the virtues accumulated by all beings be dedicated towards attaining Buddhahood. Om Vajra Bhumi Ahum. The foundation is the pure golden earth. Om Vajra Reke Ahum. The universe is encircled by a great iron fence, and in the center is Mount Meru, the king of mountains. To the east is Lukpapo, to the south is Zambulin, to the north is Dromingen, and to the west is Bangladesh. The sun, moon, Rahu, and Kladni, all things pleasing and prosperous within the world of humans and gods, complete and lacking nothing. All this wealth I offer with great devotion to my immaculate roots and lineage lamas, and to the mandala of Yidams, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Pratikas, Shravakas, Dakinis, and all-seeing Dharma protectors. Out of compassion, accept this mandala for the sake of all beings, and having accepted this offering, please bless me. Guru Idam Ratna Mandala Kandaryatayami. We sincerely request from the Glorious One, the kind and compassionate One, the teachings of common and uncommon vehicles suitable for all beings. May we comprehend the Dharma in our minds and develop all Dharma qualities.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
So today's topic is why important to give empowerment, cultural empowerment. So it's a big, huge effort to prepare. So it's a maybe big effort for you guys to come here, traffic and everything, but for organizers, even much more. Huge thing to do, and also even for me is even much more, a million times to do. So still we doing this is cannot be joking, you know. So we have to be serious, and we have to understand very clearly why it's so important. That is our topic today.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches, bienvenidos, bienvenidas todos. La charla de esta noche es particularmente importante porque trata de cómo elucidar un poco la iniciación de Kalachakra, lo cual implica un gran esfuerzo por parte de todos los participantes y de todas las personas involucradas. Y entonces, debido a la seriedad de lo que nosotros estamos emprendiendo, es importante prepararse.
So that means preparation for tomorrow and next day. So because as a human being, we do many things not to take serious. Many not important things sometimes people take too serious, and not so important things we are not enough serious. So that's why we're going to talk about why this is serious and important.
Entonces vamos a considerar la preparación para mañana, para el día de la iniciación, y esta preparación va a ser muy importante con el fin de evitar los dos extremos. Un extremo consiste en irnos a la idea de que los votos van a ser muy pesados, muy difíciles, y el otro extremo de tomar las cosas a la ligera. Por lo tanto, ninguno de los dos extremos, y entonces la presentación de esta noche va a indicarnos cómo hacerlo.
So tonight the topic is the Kalachara is why important because the Kalachara system is the ultimate non-sectarian. That's one thing. And the ultimate is love, the ultimate compassion, and then the ultimate beliefs. Not just the ultimate beliefs, but the immutable great beliefs. So all this together is so important. That is we're going to talk about.
Sistema de Kalachakra es lo máximo en cuanto concierne a lo no sectario. Es un sistema universal, totalmente non sectario, compasivo y especialmente introduce o presenta al estudiante la idea de la gran dicha inmutable.
So if I talk about this, start a little bit for my personal story. So for instance, let's say almost 20 years, not 20 years, but since I born, let's say 15 years. 15 years. I was not a monk and not have monastic life, but I really spiritual focus because I born as a nomadic herder, so there's no distraction when you go in the mountains. So my focus and entertainment, everything is at the Dharma. But during this time, I don't have any connection, a direct connection with Kalachara. And then later on, 15 years monastic life, 24/7 dedication, study and practice meditation. I had all Tibetan traditions, practices, but not Kalachara, not Jonang tradition. Okay.
En lo que concierne un poquito acerca de mi historia personal, desde que nací por 15 años, dice, no nací como monje, pero porque nació en una familia de nómadas. Y entonces, por mucho tiempo, este no era su enfoque. Sin embargo, desde pequeño había desarrollado un enfoque espiritual muy profundo. Esta era su brújula. Y entonces, y posteriormente, después de los 15 años, empezó su vida monástica y practicando gran parte de las enseñanzas del budismo tibetano, excepto Kalachakra.
So before I connect with Kalachara, I have been exposed the most of the Tibetan traditions, the most of the Munro practices, the 500,000 practices. All of them I done, and I really enjoy and engaged and enjoy each of the practices.
Entonces, por mucho tiempo practicó las varias prácticas del budismo tibetano, mundo, y a él se involucró en ella y al mismo tiempo ellas fueron fuente de gran gozo para él.
But finally I connect with the Jonang tradition, and then I connect with the Kalachara tradition, then I really surprised and how is wonderful. Everything I have been is wonderful, all the traditional teachings and practices, but I didn't imagine something even better. I didn't imagine, but then is I realized this Kalachakra is remarkable.
Finalmente pude establecer una conexión con la escuela Jonah y especialmente con Kalachakra. Y a pesar de que todas las tradiciones habían sido maravillosas, cuando encontré Kalachakra, algo especial se despertó, algo que nunca había visto antes.
So this is Kalachakra, the master Lama Lungten, Losong Tenli, and becomes my main master. Before I have many lamas. I have totally loved and devoted. But still there is someone more. So what I want to tell you guys is sometimes people think your spiritual guru or your root guru is something you signed up, you cannot change. But this is not the case. You know, you find somebody even more connected, you know, even more benefit for you. That doesn't mean you discount the others, you know. So I realize in that way, which means that in non-sectarian way, still you can have the most cherished and devotion. You can have that kind of Lama. Through my experience.
El lama principal, podríamos decir su guru raíz, Lama Munchen Lansen Tigre, se convirtió para él en el lama principal en lo que concierne la enseñanza de Kalachakra. Y una cosa que subrayó es que tener un guru raíz o el guru principal no es algo monolítico, que va a ser esto por siempre, es el único que puedo tener. Uno puede encontrar un guru raíz también que te llena de gran felicidad y gozo, como le sucedió a él, en el sentido de que uno puede tener más.
So then I totally dedicated with this Lama, this tradition, this practice, and I forgot all others. Okay, forgot all others. And then later on I thought, oh, I should have forgot them. But then I realized, oh, I am not really excluding anything, because everything in Kalachakra, Tantra, everything in practice there. So you don't, then I realize it's not like you abandon something. And you really marry in them. You really, you realize the union. It's not like you discriminate. That's what I realized.
Por lo tanto, durante un periodo digo, me voy a olvidar de todos los demás lamas que tuve y me voy a enfocar solo en este, ¿no? Y sin embargo surgió, ¿verdad?, la idea de que de todos modos no puedo excluir a nadie, porque la práctica de Kalachakra, siendo universal, es una práctica que no excluye, no omite absolutamente a nada ni nadie.
So then, year after year, I practice with Guru, I practice with solitude, everything year after year, more practice, I feel more inspired, more inspired, never ended inspired.
Entonces, año tras año estuve practicando de manera muy intensa. Y mientras más practicaba, más mi inspiración crecía.
More I realize more everything as include all other practices is included, I realized. And then finally, I interested to learn another language. Because why? Because I really interested to learn other religions, other systems. In Tibetan language, you can't learn them, you can't find them, there are no resources. Only Hindu, Indian spirituals, they have some resources, but there's also more like debating and defeating them, that kind of version. It's not like you bring it in, that kind of version.
Él se di cuenta, ¿verdad?, de que durante sus prácticas, durante la práctica de Kalachakra incluía a todas las demás. Sin embargo, él quería aprender acerca de los demás sistemas que no eran simplemente tibetanos, por lo cual decidió aprender otro idioma mediante el cual podía acercarse a estas otras, digamos, sistemas, ¿no?, filosóficos, para poderlos aprender, porque en Tibet no se encontraban estos otros sistemas en el lenguaje tibetano, en cuanto eran temas de discusión y debate para derrotar, ¿verdad?, al adversario. Entonces él estaba tomando un approach diferente, un ángulo diferente.
So then I realized more, and then when I learned English, so I started 2003. 2003 I started learning English. I started actually 2000, but only ABCD I understood. So then after I went, I'm too busy to doing pilgrimages and practices in the holy sites in 3 years, so I didn't have much really time to study. Then 2003 I started learning English, and then I at the same time learned other religions. All the religions I try to study. My reading is not enough because I'm so new to language. But I talk to many people, I interview many people. Other people help me research. In many ways, I learned a lot. And I developed a book, Ocean of Diversity. It should be here today.
Entonces, cuando él aprendió inglés en 2003, fue el momento, digamos, clave, ¿no? Antes de este momento, él visitó muchos lugares sagrados en la India y el estudio de las demás religiones se volvió en algo importante para él y por lo cual entrevistó a muchas personas, se puso a estudiar también las otras religiones y el fruto de estos esfuerzos se concretizó en la publicación de un libro que se intitula, what's the title again?
Ocean of Diversity.
Okay, Océano de Diversidad.
So, which means is summarized all the traditions, the wisdom traditions in the world. Is very hard for someone who not have that knowledge. And if somebody is expert, maybe you wouldn't read that book. But for who has no knowledge, it's very hard for. But this is not my main point. My main point is, what I'm saying is when I know more other traditions, and I have developed more respect others, the result. And then I realized more Kalachakra system is more international, more like global spiritual system, and more the ultimate level. I realize that more and more year after year. That's what I'm telling you.
Entonces, hacer el resumen de todas estas grandes tradiciones religiosas no es algo simple y tal vez también el libro, si una persona no sabe absolutamente nada de las demás religiones, tal vez no sea algo fácilmente abordable. Sin embargo, él se dio cuenta y desarrolló un gran respeto para todas las demás tradiciones y al mismo tiempo se percató del hecho de que Kalachakra las incluía todas, siendo un sistema universal.
So that means that the Kalachakra, how I use the terms, is including other religions, not only Buddhist. And also, through my experience, when I learn and know more other religions, other systems, other philosophical systems and religious, everything helped me more and more understanding more culture. So I have a more developed faith and respect the other systems.
Entonces se estableció un sistema de reciprocidad, en el sentido de que mientras más estudiaba Kalachakra, entendía más las otras religiones. Mientras más estudiaba las otras religiones, desarrollaba una comprensión más profunda de Kalachakra.
So that's the reason I'm saying Kalachakra Tantra is the ultimate non-sectarian. So why I'm saying ultimate non-sectarian, even we look at the two points. If we look at the Kalachakra history, and then how become in Shambhala or become everybody same family, and then the Kalachakra Tantra's prediction in the future, how we can unify everybody same family. If you take these two things, that alone for me is this is our future path. No matter who you are, this is the future path.
Entonces, cuando nosotros estudiamos Kalachakra Tantra, nos damos cuenta que es lo máximo de lo no sectario. Esto es lo que uno empieza a percibir. Y también está confirmado por su historia en Shambhala, donde todos los seres son una única y misma familia. Y por lo tanto, ¿cómo poder unificar lo mismo aquí en la tierra? Siendo tal vez las enseñanzas de Kalachakra el futuro de nosotros como seres humanos, para podernos unificar.
So, to be honest, other Buddhist systems, rather than Kalachakra, is a little bit sectarian, and negated everything and debated everyone, and shown as we are the superior, we are the inferior, like that. One way you could say that because you have some logic, logic nobody has. But the other way is sometimes seems like a little bit, how to say, you are a little bit nihilism. Some people could think like that way. I'm not saying it's nihilism. It is not nihilism, but appears like that. And other people could be appears like that way. But the Kalachakra system, how they, describe and the presentation is everybody can understand, is acceptable for everybody. This is my point of view.
Okay, a veces, a través del estudio de los demás sistemas budistas, podemos notar que hay una sombra de sectarianismo. Y hay muchos debates, se debaten las diferentes escuelas entre ellas, ¿no? Y ver quién gana en los debates y derrotar al adversario, etcétera, etcétera. Sin embargo, en la presentación de Kalachakra esto no aparece. Y la presentación de Kalachakra, como decía, es, según su punto de vista, ¿no? Es la más abarcante.
For instance, maybe many of you probably don't know, but the Madhyamika, we have two categories. In India we call essenceless tradition and Yogacara tradition. In Tibet, we call it Rantong tradition and Zhentong. You know, the Rantong view and Zhentong view. So this Zhentong is very much weaved with Kalachakra Tantra. So this Zhentong view is Buddhist, some Buddhist criticism is, oh, you are like non-Buddhist. Your view is so bad because like non-Buddhist. It's kind of like criticism. But in my point of view, this is a compromise. It's not criticism. Because you understand everybody and you using the same language, but you have more profound meaning. So like that.
En la tradición inda de la Madhyamika hay dos, digamos, sistemas o dos corrientes de pensamiento. Una corriente se llama Rantong, que es la tradición de la ausencia de existencia inherente, de ausencia de esencia, y la otra es Shantong, que esta visión se le traduce como vacuidad extrínseca o la vacuidad de otro. Y este punto de vista es particularmente en armonía, está particularmente armonizado con Kalachakra. Claro está que algunos grupos de budistas a veces dicen que Shantong no es budismo, es otra cosa. Y él, en lugar de tomarlo como una crítica, lo toma como un elogio, porque quiere decir que logra abarcar también a los otros sistemas que no son budistas.
So we don't go details too much in this kind of debate, but you know, in other way look, other point of view look, you know, like the Kalachakra is so much is woven all together. You know, like if you talk about external Kalachakra, internal Kalachakra, and the other Kalachakra, which means enlightened Kalachakra, you know, all together you can weave so very well. And just Kala and Chakra in these two words explains everything on the samsara universe and the enlightened universe, all weaved together. So, which means in each level, each person, each sentient being's level is so much explained, so well, so elegantly.
No vamos a entrar en detalles en cuanto a esta cuestión de las dos corrientes sobre la vacuidad y vamos a hablar un poquito sobre las tres ruedas de Kalachakras, externa, interna y otra, y a veces la traducen alternativa, que lo cual significa el aspecto iluminado de Kalachakra. Y los dos vocablos, Kala y Chakra, en sí, estos dos vocablos explican muchísimo lo que implica el universo en sus diferentes aspectos y los seres sintientes que viven en él.
Even you just can think a simple way. First, Kalachakra, who received or Shambhala, this incredible high bodhisattvas. They received. Nobody can receive, only they receive. Who developed in Shambhala? And who transmitted to our earth from Shambhala? And who cares about our future? Only Shambhala. So what is the best example of peace and harmony world is Shambhala. So therefore, in a simple way, we can understand this Kalachakra is so important for peace and harmony, your personal level or community level or global level.
Kalachakra, como todos saben, está conectado con Shambhala, en la tierra de Shambhala donde viven los altos bodhisattvas. quién desarrolló esto y cómo fue transmitido a nosotros los seres humanos, ¿no? Entonces, Shambhala, desde un punto de vista, es el mejor ejemplo que nosotros tenemos de paz y armonía. Y cómo nosotros podemos reflejar esta paz y armonía de Shambhala en el globo terráqueo.
All these reasons together, I'm saying, this is non-discrimination, non-bias, and non-sectarian, the ultimate level. And the best example that I'm telling you.
Se trata de un ejemplo muy alto de no discriminación. Discriminación como hacemos nosotros racial, no en el sentido de discernimiento, ¿verdad? No discriminación, no parcialidad y todas estas características que nos inducen a separarnos de los demás.
Why I'm thinking is this is ultimate love and compassion. So, for me, is to understanding that when we say, see, Kalachakra union, you know, the simple version is that one, only two arms, one face, the masculine version, the feminine version, both. Only one face, two arms, just like us. And this one, like 4 faces each, and 24 arms each, not each, but Kalachakra, 24 arms. That kind of detail. Either way, if we understand the essence, is one level is love and compassion. Okay.
Las enseñanzas claves son amor y compasión en su último nivel, en su máxima expresión. Y por lo tanto, en el tanka de Kalachakra nosotros tenemos dos imágenes. Una imagen con dos, la Vishvamata y Kalachakra en unión, y otro con Kalachakra y Vishvamata, sin embargo, con 4 caras. Y entonces, en cualquier modo que nosotros visualicemos las imágenes de Kalachakra, lo importante es entender la esencia de lo que trata de explicar, que es la idea de amor y compasión. Es la enseñanza eje.
But very important to understand when we say love and compassion, then we have to understand a better way what is the really rare, genuine love and compassion rather than samsaric love and compassion. Okay?
Cuando hablamos de amor y compasión, no nos referimos al amor y compasión del samsara. Sin embargo, nos referimos al amor y compasión genuinos, verdaderos.
Samsaric love means you have some kind of warmth toward other person or objects, but at the same time you have some kind of possessiveness contaminating your love. So therefore you have attachment, you develop attachment, and then it turns finally condition of the suffering.
El amor sansárico a menudo es episódico, en el sentido de que nosotros amamos, sin embargo, queremos poseer el objeto de nuestro amor. Se transforma en un aferramiento y en un apego. Y esto eventualmente se transforma en el sufrimiento condicional.
Can you imagine that, if we can separate it, we can separate this contamination of the possessiveness and narrow ego, and but there is really beautiful, this is love means this incredible warmth and shining toward to others. The only problem is the contamination.
Si nosotros notamos la diferencia entre un amor estrecho, limitado, con un amor que es caluroso y también brillante, que se extiende a todos y sin la contaminación que a veces puede penetrar en nuestros sentimientos debido al apego.
So if we understand this, this reality, we accept. We have, every single of us have some degree of love, nature, but at the same time we have kind of a little bit contamination. We understand this and accept this, and if we know how to purify this, and then you will purify. If then you purify it, this genuine love is the Vishwamata, the female version. And we have to understand, we already have connection. Everybody has that connection, and the females have more connection of that naturally loving nature and nurturing nature.
Si entendemos esa realidad del amor del cual estamos hablando y del amor samsárico, ¿verdad? Y aceptamos que nuestro amor puede estar contaminado por las diferentes características de nosotros, y sin embargo aceptamos el hecho de que nuestro amor es relativo y limitado, y sin embargo tratamos de purificarlo, se puede manifestar como Vishvamata, la consorte de Kalachakra, que es el aspecto femenino del amor universal que todo lo abarca.
So, the other hand, if we think about the masculine version of the Kalachakra, incredible, good looking, the same time is incredible, majestic and wrathful at the same time. If we cannot think of that masculine nature, is compassion. Why? Because we're not talking about the compassion of feeling sadness of others' suffering. This is only starting point of compassion, but the real compassion is courageous nature. Never give up anybody. So this is the masculine version.
El aspecto masculino de Kalachakra, la consorte y el consorte en unión, se manifiesta con una hermosura increíble y sin embargo también tiene un aspecto furioso. Representa obviamente la naturaleza masculina, sin embargo esta naturaleza masculina es compasión, porque desde el punto de vista del Tantra de Kalachakra, la verdadera compasión es algo que tiene valor, que tiene el coraje de enfrentar las cosas. Es el verdadero valor.
So why is the union? We just have to think about, okay, is love and compassion is the union? Union means they are same nature. True union is the same nature, different aspect. So yes, definitely. Love and compassion is the same nature, different aspect. Maybe some people have more degrees of love, some people have more degrees of compassion, but somebody have a lot of love but zero compassion, somebody have a lot of compassion and zero love, impossible. So that's why it's the same nature, different aspects.
Cuando hablamos de amor y compasión en unión, eso implica la misma naturaleza con dos aspectos diferentes. Y por eso amor y compasión son la misma naturaleza, dos aspectos de la moneda, dos caras de la misma moneda.
Therefore, our love is like shining woman nature toward anybody unconditionally and no possessiveness. And then our compassion is not feeling sadness, more determination and courage nature, never give up any sentiment with women. And if we become like that, that means we unveiling our true Kalachara nature. So that's why I'm saying the ultimate love and compassion.
Nuestro amor representa el aspecto femenino que brilla su amor sobre todos los seres sin diferenciación alguna, mientras el aspecto masculino representa la compasión, que como dije anteriormente es el eje de la determinación, una determinación de no abandonar a nadie en samsara, pero estar constantemente al servicio de todos los seres. Entonces, ningún ser se va a quedar atrás.
Okay, then why I'm saying this Kalachara is the ultimate method and wisdom. You know, this Kalachara union is the ultimate method and wisdom. Why I'm saying this? So you think about the Kalachara's knowledge, you know, the system. They explains everything, explains the, you know, science of the world, you know, the external or universe and the internal universe, and the enlightenment. Everything, nothing is excluded. So that's what I'm saying is incredible methods. So usually people methods. Usually some people think this is wisdom, but it's not. This is the methods. Okay, so we have to understand this way: methods and wisdom. All the knowledges. Some people misunderstand knowledge and wisdom. All knowledge is a method, and wisdom means how you use this. You know how you use your knowledge is the wisdom. Okay, so this union is really Kalachara.
El método último del Kala Chakra, el motivo por el cual digo que Kala Chakra ofrece el método último, es porque su conocimiento es enciclopédico, en el sentido de que abarca el conocimiento del cosmos y del ser humano, por así decirlo, de los seres sintientes, interno y externo e iluminado. Y por lo tanto, hablamos del binomio método y sabiduría. Todo conocimiento es método. La sabiduría es cómo usar el conocimiento que una persona adquirió.
So therefore, when we if you study something other system, other spiritual system, not Kalachara, then many things are all good, but there's some things not clear, some things missing, some things not included. But if you study Kalachara, everything included, nothing's missing, and nothing's excluded. That's why I'm saying the ultimate method.
El motivo por el cual digo que Kala Chakra es el método último es porque el estudio de este sistema no omite absolutamente nada. Mientras a veces cuando uno estudia otros sistemas hay cosas que no están muy claras y Kala Chakra se le denomina Tantra claro exactamente por eso, porque explica de manera clara.
Then if you practice Kalachara, you know, if you practice Kalachara genuinely, sincerely, your first priority of the life, and then your realizations, you cannot compare any other system practices. This is proved through the Kalachara, you know, the history. If you don't believe the history, that's another story. But I mean, is history, as I said, and logically makes sense, and many people's experience as this. Even myself, I really like all the systems and our practices. I really like it. I didn't thought it's any dissatisfaction or anything until I found Kalachara. But when I felt the Kalachakra, then I can see, its differences. At the same time, I have the, why even I'm thinking, why I'm meeting Kalachakra, why I can, at a certain level I can practice, because of the others leading me. It's not contradicting, it's leading to Kalachakra. I see it that way. So that's why I'm saying the ultimate wisdom.
El motivo por el cual defino a Kalachakra como la sabiduría última es porque a través, si una persona practica Kalachakra con sinceridad y honestidad, las realizaciones, las tomas de conciencia que desarrolla son incomparables con otros sistemas. Y la historia de Kalachakra lo comprueba a través de los diferentes yogis que lo practicaron y llegaron a estas realizaciones. Y también en el caso de Rinpoche, que a través de la práctica de Kalachakra se dio cuenta de la importancia de este sistema, gracias también al trabajo que hizo con todos los demás sistemas. Cada uno de ellos lo condujo a donde está hoy.
So also there's another way you can understand is, when we say method and wisdom, we can understand this process of wisdom, process of method, and the development method, development wisdom, we can understand this way usually, but also you have to include the ultimate, which means you reach the goal, you are developing method and wisdom. There is no further development. There is no need for further development. There is no exist further development. That also we can say the ultimate wisdom and ultimate method. This is the Kalachakra Tantra.
Lo que es Kalachakra Tantra en su esencia, otra vez regresamos a la idea de método y sabiduría, y este desarrollo del método y sabiduría incluye, digamos, a lo último. Y cuando una persona alcanza el pináculo de método y sabiduría, llega a un estado en el cual se dice, ya no hay nada más que aprender, ya se llegó al apogeo de este desarrollo.
Okay, in other words, the ultimate, profound level, we call the union of the empty form and the immutable great bliss. So we say that. So what that means? What that means exactly meaning is, you can say the ultimate, the empty form is this feminine version of the Vishvamata. You can say the all, when we say Prajna Paramata as the mother of all Buddhas. Also similarly, you can say this is the ultimate femininity. You can say that way. And ultimate femininity means ultimate beauty. Okay? And then the immutable great bliss means the ultimate goal reached. Oversension means, everybody, the state of the immutable great bliss. There's no further. So that's also meaning.
Otro aspecto de la unión de método y sabiduría es lo que llamaríamos la unión de la forma vacía y de la gran dicha inmutable. La forma vacía es el aspecto, otra vez, femenino de Vishvamata, análogo a lo que nosotros llamamos también Madre Prajna Paramita, la madre de todos los Budas. El aspecto femenino es lo último de la belleza y la feminidad. Y entonces el otro aspecto de la sabiduría, método y sabiduría, es la dicha inmutable, la gran dicha inmutable, que es lo último, más allá del cual no hay nada.
So, okay, we have no much time, so I would like to talk a little bit about how we receive the empowerment. Okay? So there are many misconceptions about empowerment. So I want to discuss this a little bit. There's two extremes, you know. Some people think we should not. Yeah, some people think I want to go all the empowerment because believe me, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to prepare anything. I don't want to do anything. But I want to bless. So it's kind of like a materialism game, you know, like. So I don't have to do anything, but I just when you go there participate, then I get something. But I want even higher. Some always say, people high empowerment, people want more. So that kind of, like this is really samsaric mistaken ignorance approach. So this is one extreme. So they don't have any preparation, no appreciation, no honoring, no faith. But anything no, but I want something. I want to get something. So this is one mistake. Okay.
Vamos a considerar ahora cómo recibir la iniciación de mañana. Existen muchas ideas erróneas al respecto y hay dos extremos particulares. El primer extremo se trata de personas que quieren ir a todas las iniciaciones sin preparación, sin dedicación, sin fe en lo que van haciendo, esperando obtener algo a cambio. Es como una búsqueda febril, ¿verdad?, de constantes iniciaciones. Y esto podríamos definirlo un ángulo ignorante de la situación. Es un acercarnos de manera no consciente a la iniciación.
So why I'm saying this is no good? Because, samsaric, achievement, material achievements, number one important, you have to have, great, diligent and persistence. Okay? This is number one important. Okay? You still have many conditions you have to meet, but this is the most. But the spiritual achievement, again, this is not, yes, you need diligence, you need to practice, but more important, how pure in your mind, how motivation, what is your motivation, how pure, and how you are a respected person, and how you honor and appreciate everything. This is the most condition. And so, when you want to receive something, you have to make the conditions.
Cuando nosotros queremos alcanzar alguna meta, lo primero que hay que hacer es crear las condiciones propicias para que eso suceda. Entonces, en el campo de la espiritualidad es lo mismo. Entonces, la pregunta consiste: ¿cuán pura es la mente que se acerca a estos estudios, a esta iniciación? ¿Y qué honradez existe dentro de mí? ¿Qué apreciación?
So everything is interdependent, and everything you need make cause and conditions. Even we making bread or making coffee or any simple thing, if you look carefully, so many cause and conditions you have to provide. So if you are around enlightenment again, spiritual development again means enlightenment again. So how you don't have to provide any conditions? Think about that.
Si nosotros observamos nuestro diario vivir, nos damos cuenta que todo es interdependiente, causas y condiciones. Y luego la pregunta surge, ¿cómo es posible que la vida espiritual no tenga los mismos factores, las mismas reglas?
The other extreme people thinking is, oh, I don't want to go empowerment because if I go, I have some commitments. So I don't want to do that commitments. But if I don't do, then I have a trouble. So you thinking something like, you think very carefully when you get married with someone. You think very carefully and or you think very carefully, you sign up something with a contract. Thinking like that way. And then another people, oh, I already have empowerment, I already have commitments, Chara Sambara or something. So now if I go Kalachara, then I have another commitment. I can't do that, so becomes burden for you. So that means really is misunderstanding. Because firstly, you have to understand that all empowerments, it is refreshing and rebuilding, reconstructing, and all your brokens, your smiles, and it's refreshing your spiritual path. And at the same time, Dharma is for your liberation, it's not for burden. If you take like burden, that means must be something wrong in you, So that we need to reflect.
El otro extremo, hemos visto el primero, el segundo extremo consiste en no querer ir a la iniciación porque ya tengo muchos compromisos, tal vez he tomado otras iniciaciones que implican ciertos votos y promesas, entonces no quiero ir porque no puedo cumplir con todos ellos. Entonces esto puede ser problemático. Y algunos toman las iniciaciones como si fuese un contrato, y no es así. Y se sienten que han tomado demasiados compromisos y se puede volver una carga. Sin embargo, toda iniciación consiste en un refrescar y reconstruir nuestras promesas a lo largo del camino espiritual. El Dharma es a favor de la liberación, no es una carga. Si nosotros lo sentimos y captamos que es una carga, implica que algo en nosotros que no está funcionando muy bien.
So then you may think what we should do. So my advice, simple way, relax. Open mind. And then try everything your best with your good motivation. Then everything is fine. It's so simple as that. Let's just say that.
Y la pregunta que surge en la mente del practicante es, ¿qué puedo hacer? Y la respuesta es, relájate. Abre la mente y trata de hacer lo mejor que puedas en lo que concierne tu promesa, siempre con un corazón sincero.
Maybe some people thinking, like, oh, no, I can't be relaxed, I can't be just naive, right? Because I have this master, I have this, empowerment, I have this practice, commitments every day. So if I have to do something, then it's become burden. I don't want to commit it anymore. I already married, I don't want to marry another one. That kind of you thinking. Yeah.
Y muchos estudiantes dicen, se me hace muy difícil, no puedo relajarme porque tengo muchos compromisos, tengo que hacer esta sadhana y esto y el otro, ¿no? Muchísimos compromisos. Cuando el Dharma se convierte en un deber o debo hacer algo, puede convertirse en una carga. Es como cuando uno dice, oh, ya estoy casado, tengo que casarme otra vez. Se convierten en carga esta idea del deber hacer. No es espontáneo.
So, the answer is, if you make contradictions of all the practices, and then if one practice you do, then the other one not happy, you know, if you follow one master and then the other one not happy, that kind of attitude, one sadhana you do, then the other sadhana you can't do, then you feel guilty. That means you take Dharma is difficult. You didn't take as a part of liberation. You took as a part of a burden. That means the wisdom is something wrong.
Si nosotros empezamos a experimentar contradicciones en nuestro camino espiritual debido a las diferentes prácticas, y si una persona empieza a sentirse culpable porque dice, oh, tengo esta práctica y ahora estoy tomando esta nueva, entonces no voy a cumplir con la otra práctica que tenía, entonces surge el sentido de culpa, entonces quiere decir que hemos tomado un sendero que en lugar de liberarnos, nos atrapa aún más con estas cadenas.
We're not talking about, when we say Kalachakra is the best, the highest, I'm not talking about Kalachakra deity is the best deity, the Chakrasambhara or other deities is less than Kalachakra deity, not that. Don't misunderstood. Okay? I'm talking about the system what we have in this world, we have in the text and commentaries and explanations. That I'm comparing. The deity level, Chakrasambhara, Kalachakra, any sentient being, any Latin being is equal. You cannot say one is superior and inferior. This is samsara way. Samsara, yes, samsara and karmic version. There is something better, something less, but that again is something only better, your own karmic version, and something less, your own karmic version, but not for others. But the ultimate, the Buddha, nature, all equal. But the system appears here is differences and different suitabilities. This is you have to pick up. This is the right path. And you don't have to contradict them. You try to live together. If there is need women, but at the same time, if you don't need women, you don't need it. You don't have to. It's not like you do something and you cheat another. It's not that. Why? Because this enlightenment path is only benefit for you. It's not somebody jealous. That we have to understand.
El punto importante que tenemos que entender es que no estamos diciendo que la deidad de Kalachakra es mejor que las otras deidades como Chakrasambhara, etc. Esto no es lo que estamos diciendo. Cuando hablamos de lo último de Kalachakra, el aspecto superior de Kalachakra, se refiere al sistema presentado en las escrituras para que nosotros los seres humanos podamos practicarlo. El nivel de las deidades son todas iguales, el mismo nivel, así como nosotros los seres sintientes todos somos la naturaleza del Buda y por lo tanto a este nivel no hay diferencia alguna. Las diferencias que nosotros captamos son los aspectos kármicos de nuestra vida, pero este es el aspecto relativo. Por lo tanto hay que entender muy bien todo esto y no caer en contradicciones pensando que si practico Kalachakra engaño a Chakasambara. Las deidades no tienen celos. Entonces, y este es el camino, ¿no?, de que está presentando.
So why I'm saying relax and important focus motivation, not important what will happen in the future. Am I cheating? Am I can do this, can't do this, worry about future? Not important what I'm saying. Because every moment your motivation is imprinting merit, good motivation. And worrying is negativity. And doesn't do anything whatsoever, is obstacle of your current dharma practice. You know, that's what I'm saying.
El motivo por el cual hago énfasis en el relajamiento y enfocar la mente es porque, especialmente si una persona tiene una buena motivación, los méritos crecen en ella, mientras el otro aspecto de la ansiedad o pensar que estamos traicionando puede crear energías kármicas negativas.
Okay, few times when His Holiness gave the cultural empowerment, many people say, "Oh, I'm worried about, will I receive or not?" So many people worry in this, and many people say, "Oh, I don't want to take empowerment. I just take blessing." You know, I told them, "Is this contradiction?" You know, this is contradiction. I said, this is contradiction. Why? Because, you know, if you go job interview, if you say, I don't provide anything, resume or anything, I will not fight for your company to work, but give me job. Does it make sense or not? Same as marriage. If you see that, say that way, is anybody marry you or not? So I say, this is wrong. You have to think, I will really honor this empowerment, and I will do everything, every single commitments required, I will do it 100%. Just think like that. Then some people say, oh, if I do this, then what about if I break this promise? I say, maybe you even have no time to break. You could be die before break. Okay.
A menudo cuando Su Santidad el Dalai Lama otorga la iniciación de Kalachakra, algunas personas siempre se preocupan, ¿por qué tengo que tomar esta iniciación? Va a ser muy pesada, los compromisos. Tal vez voy simplemente a la iniciación como bendición. Y Rinpoche manifestó que esta es una actitud errónea. Sería como ir a una entrevista de trabajo, es decir, quiero este trabajo, pero no quiero trabajar para ustedes. Entonces, o casarse y no cumplir con los deberes matrimoniales. Entonces, cuando nosotros tomamos la iniciación de Kalachakra, es bueno tratar de cumplir todo al 100%. Y muchos se preocupan, si rompo, si violo una de las promesas, dice, no te preocupes, porque a veces ni hay tiempo para violarla, porque uno muere antes que la violes. Por lo tanto, la importancia de tomar la iniciación de todos modos.
So what I'm saying, you know, that if you have a very good motivation, 100%, you know, you'll try best, and then how much lasts long? You could be last few years long breaking them, or you never break them. You know, before break you could die, but also if you didn't die, you will live long, but you could be not break in few years, or few months, or few weeks. But even you break in few hours, still is trillion times better than I say, no, I don't commit anything. It's trillion times better, even few hours you break. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Why? Because you already printed in your mind these wonderful, you know, thoughts. attitude. But if you from the beginning you reject it, where is merit? Where you get blessing? How you get your blessing? You know, think of that.
Lo importante es nuestra buena motivación, porque en realidad nunca sabemos cuándo vamos a romper una promesa y si es que esto suceda o no, o un voto. Y por lo tanto, tomar las promesas es mucho mejor que nada. Aunque una persona la violes, ¿verdad? No, lo bueno sería no rechazar desde el comienzo alguna de ellas. Va a ser un reto, pero no rechazar nada.
And then some people really persistently say, oh, what is your commitment, your environment? They tell me like this. So the answer, short answer is commitment is up to you, entirely 100% up to you, not me. I provided conditions, any possibility to try the best for you. So how you take is up to you. If you really want to practice Kalachakra path, I provided the whole completion path in your language. So there is 100% of your hands. There is, I don't have any particularly, oh, you have to do this, otherwise you have to do this sadhana every day. If you don't, I don't have that. But if you willing to, I explained everything in the book. That's it.
Todo lo que se necesita hacer está explicado en el libro del cual él es el autor. Y en cuanto concierne a nuestros compromisos, porque a veces las personas preguntan, ¿cuáles son tus compromisos? Y en este sendero particular, cada uno es dejado a su propia criterio. En el sentido de que la persona corresponde a la persona misma decidir cuáles son los compromisos que asume y cuáles son los compromisos que no asumes. Él no lo determina, corresponde a nosotros. Sin embargo, si una persona toma ciertos compromisos y consulta a Rinpoche, claramente él está dispuesto a explicar y todo está en el libro.
Okay, simple way, what does the empowerment means? It means leading to step by step to closer and to closer your own Buddha nature. That's it. So then how much you can take serious, how much you can want to develop, then up to you. We provide all the books and instructions and the website, everything. Then entirely is up to you.
¿Cuál es el significado de iniciación? El significado de iniciación implica conducir al practicante paulatinamente a la naturaleza del Buda. Y luego, claro, todas las instrucciones uno la puede encontrar, pero esto es el significado, nuestro camino hacia la naturaleza entera.
So another point of view, if you look what are the benefits, is, you know, in our world, in our future, how becomes this world becomes golden age or worse, terrible, is in Kalachakra Tantra says is up to the Shambhala hands. So that means my understanding, my interpretation, we have to provide cause and conditions of golden age. How you do that? We have to connect with the Shambhala. To connect to Shambhala, how you do it? Through the Kalachakra lineage. Through the Kalachakra lineage transmission. So I don't see any other way is connected directly to the Shambhala. So that is the another reason.
¿Cuáles son los beneficios del estudio y la práctica de Kalachakra? Y la pregunta es, ¿qué va a suceder a nuestro mundo en el futuro? ¿Qué nos depara el futuro? ¿Cómo vamos nosotros a crear una edad áurea o dorada en el mundo. Esto depende exclusivamente de causas y condiciones, que es lo que nosotros proporcionamos. Y para poder tener una edad dorada hay que crear el terreno propicio para que esto suceda a través de una conexión con Kalachakra, que es, digamos, el conducto directo con la tierra de Shambhala.
Okay, so any questions, please?
Preguntas. Oh.
No es ninguna pregunta, solamente quiero decir gracias Rinpoche, por ese mensaje de amor y compasión que no necesita de traducir en idiomas porque llega directamente al corazón.
It's not a question nor a comment. It's just thank you for this message of love and compassion that does not need translation because it arrives directly to your heart.
Thank you, understanding.
Any other question? Algunas otras preguntas? Andrea.
Thank you, Rinpoche. I wanted to know what is the golden age?
Okay.
La pregunta es, ¿qué es la edad dorada o áurea?
So, golden age is peace and harmony world, which means not just peace and harmony. I no bother my neighbor, you my bother neighbor, my no bother me. We have strong fences. It's not like that. It is totally, harmonious society, harmonious environment between the humanity and the environment is very harmonious, and harmonious, the environment, we have no natural disasters, and everything in how the elements is very balanced, and healthy environment, healthy humanity, healthy spirituality, no sectarian, zero sectarian, zero discrimination, and is zero judgment. Is everybody is one family, so everybody's conduct and thoughts, attitude is perfect. Then the environment is perfect, and then the whole world is perfect. So that's the golden age.
La edad de oro implica armonía, paz y equilibrio. Es una edad en la cual no hay muros, no hay separación y barreras entre los seres humanos y también el medio ambiente. Hay una armonía completa incluso con los elementos, por lo cual no hay, digamos, desastres naturales, porque los elementos, estando en equilibrio, se armonizan entre ellos.
But how we at the golden age, how, in general we have the kind of like calculations, say, such and such time, 300-400 years, then the golden age come. The Shambhala, release us, how do you call it? I forgot the word. Rescue, that kind of. But in my understanding, my point of view, no, we were not waiting for golden age. We do nothing and waiting for golden age. We should do something about it. And we make conditions, causal conditions. So golden age sooner, not just few hundred years, could be 100 years, could be our generation, could be something like that. That's what we want to do. We want to go forward, not the backward or waiting. This is not real patience. This is laziness. So but actually, Kontin Tolpo Sherp Johnson, he been in the 15th century, and he said all dharmas is a quarter right, 3/4 right, is not completion dharma. If you practice completion dharma, then is completion age, which means golden age, very easily. But if you incomplete spiritual practice, then golden age is maybe very long. So that's why I'm saying, that's why my dedication is for the Kalachakra Tantra, because of that. It's completion dharma. It's universal dharma. That's what I see.
La pregunta que a menudo hacemos es ¿cuándo llega la edad de oro? No, el punto de vista es, no consiste en esperar que la edad de oro llegue sin hacer absolutamente nada. Nos corresponde a nosotros crear causas y condiciones propicias para que la edad de oro pueda manifestarse en el mundo de nosotros. Por lo tanto, aconsejó que no seamos perezosos en nuestras prácticas. Y también mencionó al gran maestro Tolpopa, el cual menciona que si algunos dharmas son incompletos, darán como frutos resultados incompletos. Sin embargo, si uno practica un dharma completo y universal, esta práctica podrá acelerar la manifestación de la edad de oro en nuestra tierra. Stephanie.
Hi, thank you. My question has to do with your definition of compassion, because I like it a lot. However, I tend to, like, having come from a background of Christianity in which there's a concept of righteous anger, and but I also have this understanding that's very black and white of anger being wrong. But I also understand that love is a very strong drive, and for love to turn into determination and courage. Would you call that anger? Is that wrong?
In my point of view, anger or anything, the negative emotions, most of them is tools. If you know how to use very well, then you know how to use the very tools. If you know how to use very well, you get only benefit. But if you don't know how to use tools, which means you don't control the tool, the tool control you, then it's dangerous. So I see that way.
Okay, thank you.
Depends how you use it.
La pregunta era sobre la definición de la compasión, porque también el trasfondo cultural de Stephanie es cristiano, por lo tanto a veces se habla de la rabia o recta, ¿verdad? Justificada. Y entonces, ¿cómo podríamos nosotros lidiar con estas emociones? Y entonces la respuesta fue que la mayoría de nuestras emociones negativas son instrumentos. Si el practicante sabe usarlos, los instrumentos se convierten en nuestros asistentes. Si la persona no sabe usarlos, pueden cortarnos. More questions? ¿Otras preguntas?
Yeah, so in some Tibetan schools, they believe that, or they tell you when you take an empowerment, whether it's Buddhist mantra, Chakrasambhara, or Namatanka, that if you then either leave that lineage or you not so much break the vows, but you no longer do that particular practice. If you're going to take on other practices, you have to stack those together. You're not allowed to set one aside to do another empowerment unless you want to take on these commitments. Is that more or less kind of like the old thought? and those old thinking aspects, and is the non-sectarian aspect more free and open? I mean, what I'm hearing from you is that this seems to be more of a free and open free will, whatever you particularly choose as your own path, which way to go with the empowerments. So I don't see any conflict in taking an empowerment and maybe setting aside other empowerments. Because I myself have had many, many empowerments over the last 4 years with many different teachers. And they will tell you, you will come back and maybe as a lesser animal, or you'll have downfalls, you will go to the hell realms. You will have to do so many, hundreds of millions of steps, So what is your view on that? Because there's a lot of them, they're pretty strong when you give them requirements, that they tell you what the
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Yes. So is that thought now kind of old? And with the non-sectarian, I see that the non-sectarian seems to be becoming more and more popular. Just wanted to get more input from you, your feeling towards that.
Yeah, I think you can think this kind of messages. You can think of few points. Sometimes maybe not necessarily bad motivation telling you this, but also they think this is very authentic, and their thinking is they try to stick with the text. So it's really authentic their thinking, and it could be good motivation they say, but is literal meaning, literal, no understanding deeper meaning. That's one thing. If it could be worse than this, then it's sectarian, of course. And then even could be worse, then is they treat you as a position, not like they're not treating you. They're not thinking I'm a bodhisattva, I'm a bodhisattva path. My aspiration and you can say commitments to serve the sentient beings, whatever is a possible way. They're not thinking that way. Instead, I gave you this empowerment, so you are my disciple, which means you are my possession. Or you married me. You cannot go any other wife or husband. You belong to me. That kind of attitude is not very good from, in my point of view, it's not very good from spiritual teacher point of view. But if students have voluntarily, if you have this kind of attitude, fine, no problem. That's I think.
Voy a sintetizar la pregunta y la respuesta. La pregunta fue si en el caso de personas que han tomado varias iniciaciones como Chakrasambhara o Yamantaka y otras, ¿verdad? Si estas prácticas, cuando uno practica estas iniciaciones, tal vez los maestros aconsejan que apilen las prácticas una sobre otra, sin abandonar ninguna. Y entonces, sin embargo, lo que nosotros hemos oído hoy por la noche es un ángulo un poquito más abierto y menos sectario, en el sentido de que hay más libertad sobre la práctica. Entonces, los 3 puntos que él trajo a colación es que, digamos, partimos de la mejor motivación. A veces la motivación del maestro no es negativa, ¿no? Que dice, no puedes hacer otras prácticas que esta, porque interpretan de manera literal los textos. Lo primero es una interpretación literal. El segundo aspecto podría ser sectario. El maestro es sectario, por lo tanto no quiere que el discípulo experimente otras cosas. La tercera es que a veces te tratan como posesión. El maestro te ve a ti como su propia posesión y entonces hay un fuerte aferramiento y usan estas tácticas para que el estudiante no se aleje.
Any problem with that? Anybody? Protesters?
I was just thinking, after you give the environment, what are the requirements, if you could have a please, the elaboration on what are the known requirements or how you do it, and
Yeah, we have the Monday and Tuesday, we want to practice how to practice and show everything. And then we have gardens, we have many gardens on the website, we have, email, we have, and many ways we have gardens.
once I started this little bit, you're doing this Guru Yoga and all, and college after you're like supposed to do Guru Yoga 6 times, 3 times at night and 3 times at daytime or something. How does that go these days?
This is not my approach. I focus on the quality, not on the quantity. Yeah.
Ok, la pregunta es, después de la iniciación están todas las prácticas, ¿verdad? Y entonces, y los requisitos para la iniciación, entonces, ¿cómo encaramos todo esto, no? Y él manifestó la idea de que el lunes y el martes son los días en los cuales nosotros vamos a practicar, habrá la explicación y también una explicación que se encuentra en el sitio internet. Y los requisitos que a veces pueden ser muy rígidos, hacer el Guru Yoga 2 veces, 3 veces al día, en el caso de él la cosa es un poquito más relajada, no es tan rígido, no es el ángulo que él toma en cuanto a estas instrucciones. Hay más libertad.
Thank you for offering these teachings and empowerments. I had a question basically around the idea of non-sectarianism or this kind of thing, or Rime, I guess, which I think is a beautiful idea. I have a hard time reconciling how we can practice it, I guess, in the world that we live in, which is not a golden age, where there are people who have teachings which maybe appear to be correct, but their intention, or like a hidden intention, is to deceive somebody or harm them or take advantage of them, this kind of thing. So my understanding is that discrimination is still necessary to understand that somebody's motivation is harmful to people even though they don't realize it and that sort of thing. Is that a correct kind of perspective for me to have? And how can we kind of reconcile those ideas without creating more conflict when people kind of feel that they're following a path that's beneficial, but maybe their teacher in reality has negative, I guess, intentions?
Okay, so firstly we have to separate the people and the spiritual system. So the spiritual system, any spiritual system, they have limitations, but everyone has, if you follow properly, there's good qualities to follow. So if you understand this, then you have respect. So such like medicine or food or anything, even you don't like that food, but still you know this food is valuable for somebody else. Same as medicine. Even this medicine, you don't need this medicine, maybe not suitable for you, but it is still medicine. You can see that way, so that way you can develop others. It's people's conduct and people's attitude. That is not about the religion or the spiritual system. You have to separate.
Maybe one thing that was confusing, it used the word discrimination, but it wasn't referring to, as we understand it nowadays, racial discrimination. It was more the idea of discernment.
Right.
And that's what you correctly brought up. We need to use discernment.
Yeah.
And that's what he was saying right now, to be able to discern between the right medicine and the wrong medicine. But the word that was used was discrimination. And your question was about, we still need to use discrimination.
Right.
Yes, which is that meaning of discerning between the real and the not. Yes.
My limit of language.
No, it wasn't a limit, it just, no,
because I use English, I'm guessing, everything guessing.
Déjame traducir. La pregunta que el joven hizo, ¿verdad?, es cómo podemos integrar la práctica Rimé en el diario vivir cuando hay muchas influencias antitéticas entre ellas, muchos problemas entre las personas. Y entonces la idea es cómo poder usar la discriminación, que esta fue la palabra que confundió un poco, ¿no?, que en español es también discernimiento, cómo usar el discernir. Y entonces él dijo exactamente, lo explicó muy bien, ¿no?, que lo mismo como cuando nosotros tenemos que escoger o distinguir entre una medicina que nos hace bien y una medicina que nos puede dañar. Entonces hay que usar el discernimiento y saber discernir la diferencia entre un sistema religioso y las personas que lo practican, con sus limitaciones, etcétera, etcétera. Chris, you had your hand up for a long time, and then we come to Salvador.
If Shambhala has still karmic connections and it's more subtle of a realm, can you reach Shambhala through dreams or a dream realm, or how would it compare to the dream realm?
It is not normal dream, normal dream you cannot achieve, cannot reach, impossible. But, like dream is, again, some kind of opportunity. But for normal people, there is no, it becomes not opportunity. But if you have some spiritual practices, how you take as a dream as an opportunity, then you can use that opportunity. So that's only very individual, for individuals who knows how to use dream as an opportunity. For them is you can go more refined level, because the most sensory and the obvious consciousness is not present in the dream. So that's why.
La pregunta de Chris era si es posible alcanzar Shambhala a través de los sueños. Y entonces, no a través de un sueño normal, los sueños que nosotros tenemos. Sin embargo, hay personas que han, digamos, refinado esta oportunidad, porque los sueños es un momento de gran oportunidad para aquellos que tienen prácticas espirituales profundas y logran, digamos, trascender. Entonces, no es un sueño cualquiera, tiene que ser un sueño de una persona ya con prácticas espirituales expertas. Salvatore.
First of all, Rinpoche, thank you for this teaching. I really appreciate your relaxed approach to the practice. And it is my question, because Kalachakra belongs to Tantrayana, Vajrayana, no? And this path needs the practice of Guru Yoga, the sixth section Guru Yoga. So, what is your idea of approach in Guru Yoga? You're talking about formal practice. So, what is your idea to be relaxed in approaching Guru Yoga in sixth section? What does it mean? That I can do only one section of the sadhana, maybe 5 sections of a short version of Guru Yoga, just to better understand how to approach the formal practice.
Okay. So, sixth session Guru Yoga practice is a version of practice, not the version of practice. That we have to understand first. So that means one way, one level of people's practice is not covers for everybody. So in many ways you can practice depending who you are, where you at. So what I'm saying, you relax and you take the best good motivation. I'm thinking impermanence. And every time you have relaxed and have best intention, you accumulate enormous, merits. That's the most important. If you just instead that and worry about the future, how can it happen, it's kind of selfishly driven. And also you can practice, every day I have to practice this, and kind of these issues. It could be selfish manifestation. Could be. I'm not saying would be everything, but it could be. So, if it's me, if it's a beginner, I would say everybody do relax and best intention is possible, not thinking about future. Every moment, be mindful, So the Vajrayana main important is pure perception and honoring the path. This is the absolute necessary. Pure perception also easy to say, but how much degree you can do? You don't have to be absolute degree, high degree. It's because it's not realistic expectation. It's depends who you are, how much degree you can do. So hopefully that will be helpful.
La pregunta que fue formulada trataba sobre, otra vez, es una pregunta técnica sobre los 6 guru yogas de Kalachakra. Dado que Kalachakra pertenece al Tantrayana, al Tantra Yoga más elevado, entonces están estas 6 prácticas de Guru Yoga que normalmente se prescriben, de una manera muy rígida y repetitiva, hacerlo 3-4 veces al día, etcétera, etcétera. Entonces, la pregunta consistía, ¿cómo lidiamos con eso, desde un ángulo menos, digamos, rígido, que es lo que estuvo presentando? Dijo que los 6 Guru Yoga es una manera de practicar, no es la última, tampoco es una manera, digamos, completa de practicar, es una de las maneras. Y no es para todos, y entonces depende de dónde cada uno de nosotros se encuentre en su camino espiritual. Y muy a menudo una de las cosas importantes en las cuales pensar es la impermanencia y luego relajarse y tener la mejor intención en nuestras prácticas, y esto es productor de grandes méritos. Porque lo otro, practicar el Guru Yoga y luego pensar al futuro, voy a hacer esto, puede estar tiñido de un aspecto egoísta. Pero para un principiante, supongamos, desarrolla la mejor intención, y luego en Vajrayana lo que es muy importante es la percepción pura de la realidad, y esto es lo que es clave para el Vajrayana. Por lo tanto, con una intención pura y una práctica, practicar lo mejor que podamos.
Okay, let's say, if I say, do everything, I do the best, everything, 100% I will do it, that kind of motivation you try to take when I say this. If it does a little bit too much for you, you don't really understand, you need more precise, something simple, then I would say, think about, I promise I will read all these books, my books. And then I will see how it goes. How it goes. My inspiration is increase or decrease. But that I really promise. If you would like, I'm not saying you have to promise this, but if you really want simple, do that. That's I recommend.
Si ustedes quieren algo, digamos, categórico, entonces pueden comprar los libros y leerlos todos y ver lo que sucede después de esta lectura, darse cuenta si esto sucede algún cambio, qué es lo que sucede dentro de uno y ver.
Anybody like that?
¿Le gusta esta manera categórica y simple?
I only this saying because if really you want something simple and easy to grasp. Yeah.
Digo eso si ustedes quieren algo simple de aferrar, de poder captar, ¿no? Esto es algo que es captable.
Yeah. But one thing I can guarantee, you will not regret, oh, I went to this environment, oh, I'm going to do something else. That's more likely not.
Una cosa que puedo garantizarles es que ustedes no van a lamentarse de la iniciación que van a recibir. Esto seguramente no va a ser una pérdida de su tiempo.
Okay? Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Oh, dedication.
Dedication.
Yes.